firefighters. 248 of them committed suicide last year. 222 were killed in traumatic line of duty deaths. Those are your parents, brothers, sisters, neighbors, college coaches, people you know in your communities. So every year in California, as the slides you can see, we activate thousands and thousands of firefighters all over the state to go put out these wildfires that are so devastating. They come from all over the West, sometimes all over the country, and they've come from all over the world. You see them on the news, fires blowing up a hillside, burning people's homes, burning land, trees, almost to the ocean. And in Malibu last year it did. They burned right to the ocean. And we're always so happy that our heroes go out there and we get them put out and we save as many lives as we can. You see air tankers putting Phos-Chek on an indirect attack line so that the fire burns into that indirect attack line and it slows down enough that we can put ground crews on there, put water on the fire, take hand tools to grind out the fuel down to what we call mineral soil. And sometimes it burns into the homes, and sometimes we can't do anything about it. Hopefully the homeowner has gone about it and put in his what we call defensible space. Clears out the brush, clears out the trees, but also gives us a chance to get in there. Other homes, they don't take care of it, they don't do their defensible space, and it's a challenge for us to even stop the fire. And unfortunately, it's just not that lucky. The Kincaid fire this summer up in Santa Rosa, California, deployed almost 5,500 firefighters. We sent fire engines, 350 fire engines from California, crews, professional crews, inmate fire crews, and then a whole city of logisticians that show up to make sure people are fed, make sure our firefighters are healthy, they get medical care if it's necessary. These are the systems that put these fires out in California. But why these fires are so bad? Did they seem this way 20 years ago? In my career, we have definitely seen an increase in the way the fires are burning. Back in 1987, when I started in the fire service, 2,000 or 3,000 acres was like, wow, that's a huge fire. Now we have 300,000 acres that burned 1,500 homes down. City of Paradise was completely annihilated last summer. The winds are blowing faster and hotter. The fuels are getting drier. There's more of them, more fuels that are able to be burned. Droughts are longer, and people are moving into these areas that we call the wildland-urban interface, the places where you want to live, where it's beautiful and cool, and there's trees and it's green, until the monster comes over the hill. And then you've got 5 minutes to leave. And some people don't make it out, unfortunately. You see all of these people in your communities every day, whether it's the pilots that are flying the air tankers, the crews that are on the engines, the chiefs that are in your communities. We're all out there committed every single day. 24 hours a day, your firefighters are at your fire stations ready to go on a moment's notice. They get their vacations canceled. They get their kids' birthday parties and soccer games missed. But they're there committed to make sure you are safe in California and all over the country. In the 32 years that I've been doing this job, and don't get me wrong, I don't regret it for a second. The service level and the good that I've done, that we have done for people, whether it's delivering babies, helping out people who are having heart attacks, walking people to their cars after an accident, warming them up in the shelters, it's very, very rewarding. But back in 2005, when a friend of mine died on a fire from a heart attack, we went to work the next day. And that evening the next day, off we went to a car accident. A mother and 2 children burned to death. We did that. We went back to work. We buried our colleague, and we went back to work and finished the job. And we all went back to work the next day and finished the job. When people call, we're there. We run medical aids, like I said, heart attacks, car accidents, structure fires, the dramatic days when you have a house fire that's burned up and you're standing around mopping up what's left, and you look down and you're standing in photo albums, children's toys, pets that have passed away. These are the things that, unfortunately, the community doesn't see. But we still love this job. We love the adrenaline. We love the work. We love keeping the fires small and being able to knock them down. When they are big and nobody's killed, it's like a football game. You go out and work really hard. You put everything, every breath you have into it, and you go home so exhausted you want to sleep for 3 days. You take a shower. Your family smells the smoke in your hair for a week. It just doesn't go away. We clean our gear. We expose ourselves to cancer risks. But firefighters are committed to that. We love this job. It's our identities. We work extremely hard to make sure the community's safe. But I like to bring up something that most people don't realize. It's a constant struggle to make sure that fire departments have the adequate resources to stay safe for their members and keep the public safe. And what I tell people all the time, people take firefighting for granted. When the house next door is on fire, they go, oh, thank God it wasn't mine. Yet every single day in law enforcement, they lock their doors, they lock their cars. People worry about law enforcement every day because crime is always on what we call above the fold in the paper. So we're out there doing the job. We're making sure people understand what we're doing. We put our lives, our souls, our health at risk to make sure the communities are safe. We advocate for firefighting, fire departments, to make sure when you call, arguably on the worst day of your lives, whether you're having a heart attack, you've been involved in an accident, or your house is on fire, we're there. We show up. We're that warm hand that are going to help you out. Make sure you get to the hospital. Give your family a ride to the hospital in the fire engine if that's what it takes. But this takes a toll. The California Professional Firefighters NPC study that we commissioned 2 years ago, 1 in 6 firefighters has contemplated suicide. 1 in 3 could be the number, but most people don't admit it. What you've seen, what you've lived, what is happening, the fires that people have been on take a toll. It's widely recognized by mental health experts that firefighting is second only to the military in what happens to people and what happens to their brains when they get injured. It's a new struggle. You know, in the old days, buck up, buttercup. Get back to work. Get ready for the next call. You're not a man if you're not sitting around the kitchen table talking about what you just saw and getting ready to go out on the next one. There's no crying in the firehouse. And that gets taken home. People don't understand. Our families sometimes don't understand. And now, over the last 5-6 years, we've realized that initial number that I told you. We have had more suicides than we had line of duty deaths. This mental health issue is real. So what I'm asking, we always hear it. Thank you for what you've done. And don't kid yourself, we appreciate it. It puts a smile on our face when people say thank you for what you do. And it's true. 32 years, I've had lots of thank yous. And it is worth every bit of it. But all of these people who are out there, all of these men and women that are out there fighting fires, that you see driving up and down the state, lines and lines of fire engines. When you look up and you see an air tanker flying over, Whether it's a green truck, a red truck, a white truck, it doesn't matter. Those trucks are filled with people. People who are probably injured. People who are probably going back to work. I've had friends who have figured it out, gotten help, and reached out and said, I'm healing myself. And I was going down a dark road. I've also had a friend who denied that he was able to handle this. He struggled with what he had seen. He told his wife every night, I just can't stop the ringing in my ears. I don't know why this won't go away. And unfortunately, he's one of the statistics now. We celebrate the successes. You hear all over the news the line of duty death stories, the heroes, you see the parades, the processions, bagpipes, flag draped caskets in the back of fire engines. There is nothing to downplay that ultimate sacrifice. We watch that, we see it. But the darkness of where somebody with a mental health problem is not seen. It's not celebrated, and it's something that just doesn't go away. I've been fortunate. I have a very supportive family. I have friends who listen. I've worked through this for many, many years, and I'm looking forward to retiring in a few years and surviving this. But I've made it a mission of mine to help others, help other firefighters get to a place where they can ask for help, not feeling like they can sit around and be told, suck it up, buttercup. We got a job to do. No, we have a job to do. We're going to do our job. We're going to do it to the best and safest abilities we can. And then we're going to surround ourselves with each other to help each other out and get over this injury so that there will not be a brain injury from a mental health issue. So what I challenge everybody in this room, everybody who's watching this at some point, when you see a firefighter, a person who's been your hero, who got out there to help save cities from fire, who's dealing with worse issues because of climate change, winds, natural disasters, or even just the random heart attack that you just couldn't get back. Ask them, how are you? What can I do to help? Do you need a hug? Because we're starting to identify that that's it. We are men and women who are big, strong, and tough as nails. And the toughest people I know are firefighters. But these heroes, these people that you hang around with, that you probably take for granted when you go to the river or you go on vacation or you're friends with, there's ringing in their ears. There's noise going on. Those heroes are coaching your kids' teams. They're teaching at your colleges as a part-time job. They are helping society. They're continuing more of that heroic work to help you out. And I challenge all of you, take a moment and ask them if they need some help. Ask them how they are doing. Tell them thank you for what they've done and thank you for the sacrifices they have made. Thank you for the time.